Good evening, everybody. It is episode 108, and it is that time again, Gear of the Month, and we're going to be talking about rain gear. And it's one of those things you don't really think about how important it is until you are caught without it.
Yes. And I'm sadly probably not carrying it as much as I should.
And you know
Or
what? We're all guilty for that, to be honest. I know. I've gotten better at it with the motorcycle because I always try to keep at least rain pants with me on a motorcycle because my jacket's somewhat rainproof. But it's one of those things you should have at least have something in the bottom of your bag that it will keep you somewhat kind of dry. And looking at the stuff that you sent me and the ones that I put up, I think we kind of got everything covered from the bare minimum to the bougie as hell. You know what I mean? So I think we got a good swath of stuff in here, and hopefully we'll get a good discussion going. And water
I don't
only
know what
comes.
your I don't know if your most expensive set comes anywhere no close to my most expensive set, but
You know what? Like I said, that last one you sent me there, the mine is pretty much right on par, if not a little better.
wow. Wow. Okay. We got some impressive stuff coming up here, boys. Boys and girls.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and guys, gather around and feast your eyes. It is ring gear. But
But I think we should talk about my lowest price item first.
I agree because, in all honesty, that thing is absolutely great. So we're gonna flip over to that if I don't mess this up. Oh, look at that! I messed it up. Nope, I didn't. We're good. It
No,
just
you
took a
got
second
it.
to load. We're good.
And I'm loving this one. This one is how many does it come in a package?
It looks like 100 bags.
100 bags for how much did it come up to?
1743. And you can do
So
better than that depending on where you go. Because I know if you go to Costco, sometimes put these things on ridiculous sale. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not 100, but I mean, you can get a lot of them.
yeah, but what I'm saying is, if 50 cents a set, and this one set can last you quite a while, it's hard to beat. And that's taxes in. 50 cents taxes in one piece of rain gear that will last you.
Yeah. And I mean, it has other uses too, though that's not the point of tonight's show. I mean, it is kind of one of the best things you can keep in your pack anytime you go in the woods. It's a poncho, poke 3 holes in it.
Yeah.
It's a container if you need, like, if something happens and you need to store a little bit of water. It's a tarp if you slice it up the sides. Like, I mean, it has multiple uses for
You
only a
fill
couple
that
cents.
water, leave it out in the sun, and it's hot water.
Oh yeah, well, you and I were talking about it before. The solar showers
Yeah.
and how hot those suckers can get.
Yeah. It's hard to beat. So like bare bones, nobody has an excuse really not to carry at least one black garbage bag in their kit, and it weighs almost nothing. Like ball it up, stick it in the corner of your pack, forget it's there. It has 101 uses. I swear it does. And I mean, in a pinch, you can make like string out of it. Like you can stretch that stuff out and tie things up. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with it.
Oh man, like I said, it is one of the best things to have in your pack. But Ben, I hear you say, what if one bag doesn't fit me? The beautiful thing about these, multiple sizes for the same price point. Like there is no excuse. These extra large, you're only getting 20 bags for $8.47, but they are like 31 inches by 42 inches. You know what I mean? Like that's a fairly good size
Yeah.
poncho, if you
You,
will.
you, yeah, you'd have that's one size fits most by far. Like I think that's
Carl just made a quote, and you know what? I like it. Not to. It's actually pretty good. It says, "There's no such thing as bad weather, only inadequate clothing."
yes.
That's actually pretty good. I like that. I've never heard it before, or if I did, I forgot it. And apparently, that's Ron Swanson. And Steve made the comment orange instead for visibility factor. And of course, if you can, once again, if you can make something as cheap as 50 cents or less, do multiple things, which we listed a bunch there. And if you do make them orange, um, then once again, you have that. If something happened, you got lost, you can use it for signaling help. You stand out. Great idea. I need the Costco sized ones. I hear you, Chris. And that's the other thing. These are just garbage bags. If you want to splurge, so to say, you can get what's called drum liners. And those things are like 50 some odd inches by 36 inches. Like they're just massive. Ridiculously massive.
I used to have a bunch of the search and rescue bags, and they were bright orange.
Yeah.
These things are huge. Like, they're a tarp in their own right. Like, yeah.
I mean, not that we've talked about this before. You still have to have some breathability, but in a pinch, you could use them almost like a big one as a sort of bivy system.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. No. They definitely have their purposes, and the bright orange ones. These had Search and Rescue Canada. I think the Search and Rescue Volunteer, Adventure Smart, and all that stuff wrote on it. We don't pass them out anymore because there's a few downsides to them. But honestly, a solidly good system that can keep you dry and out of the weather. It has its definite purposes. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be Glad. It can be any brand. Orange works, blue works, white works, but large garbage bags, you can get the big recycling ones, and you can protect your gear, you can protect yourself, you can do all kinds of stuff with it, and it's pretty cheap. So it means nobody has an excuse not to have anything to protect them from the rain in the weather. It's something you can take and fashion into a passable weather system for dirt cheap. So
And
that was fun.
no, I was gonna say if you live somewhere, there's a 99.9% chance there's a garbage bag in that dwelling or apartment or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I know somebody's gonna be like, I don't use garbage bags. Well, you know what? You're the 0.1%, but for the rest of us, you have, or chances are you have garbage bag. You know what I mean?
I don't.
Merry Fishmas Eve for Nova Scotia. That is correct. Good point, Gary. And hey, Troy, and everybody else there that we might have missed. So yeah, that's kind of borderline entry line. You don't have an excuse. Even if you don't want to take it as a weather system, you should carry some sort of drum liner, garbage bag, something like that. Bottom of your pack takes no space, no weight. Like, it's a no-brainer, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And oftentimes, if I'm going in wet weather, I'll take one of those. I'll line my whole bag with it, stuff all my stuff in, close it up, and then close the backpack up over it. And if it rains, yeah, my pack gets wet, but everything inside of it's dry.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I've used them as rain flies for my backpack. You know what I mean? It starts getting wet, you just throw it over the backpack, give it a little tie, put the tied end down, 100% dry in the morning.
Oh yeah, no, there's 101 uses for them. I said that earlier, and we could talk about it all night. But yeah, starting point, like, I don't want anyone calling up next week and saying I can't go bushcrafting because I don't have rain gear. But
and if you do, I'm mailing you a garbage bag. We'll take a pool. We'll start a GoFundMe page. We will get you a box of garbage bags. But anyway, we kid, but only to a degree. So yeah, borderline entry there. Next one up on the list is actually one from me, and it's one I have a little bit of experience with. So it's it's literally the Coleman series from Walmart, and there's a couple things I like about this. This specific one that you see here isn't the one I necessarily recommend. There's another one, I couldn't find it on their website, where you buy each piece individually, like the pants come, and then the jacket comes. I think they're each $15. Maybe $20, depending if you get like the 3XL or something like that. Well, this is the one I'm talking about. And these are the Coleman rain pants. The coat was okay, but the pants are great. And for the price you pay, once again, they don't take a lot of weight. They come with their own storage bags. fairly light that you can throw them in the bottom of the bag, and they work good. I've had this for, I'm going to go 5 or 6 years, and I use them a
Wow.
lot during the summer. So for the price you paid, you can't beat it. The only thing I do recommend with them is same thing I say about tents. At least once a year, set it up and kind of re-waterproof it. While I'm doing the tent, I do the pants. It's just, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's basically the same material, or feels very like the material that your tent would be made out of. I treat it the same way. I take it, I spray it down with like the tent, the silicone tent water repellent or whatever the heck it is, and I have never had any real troubles with those pants. The coat, like I said, not so big a fan because it is a little lighter material. I find my coats tend to get a little bit more banged up than the pants do, unless I'm walking through, literal thorn bushes or something like that.
Yeah.
But and more for me, just flexing. Not like, but as you're moving and stretching and stuff like that, I tend to blow a lot of cheaper coats out, like the back will rip out of them or the arm will come out, like the seam, something like that. So I generally spend a bit more on my jacket. I am guilty for that. Pants, as long as they keep me dry, they're a great pair of pants. And these, for the price, I think I got these ones on clearance for literally $7. But they have since come back into stock, and I think their everyday price is like $15. And you can't beat them, honestly. They are great for what they are. So next up, if you say you have no rain gear, if we can't get you the box of garbage bags for some reason, if we can't locate a couple garbage bags, I myself will try and go out and find a pair of these pants for you. Once again, we'll set up the GoFundMe. We'll make a big thing of it. It'll be great.
We will embarrass the hell out of you, but we
Oh yeah,
will.
oh yeah. You'll definitely not wish you hadn't done it, but I will do it. We have the Coleman two-piece set for work for like $10. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not that expensive. They go on sale all the time. Keep an eye on the clearance items. Like I'm a big budget shopper. I like trying to buy stuff dirt cheap and seeing how good I can make it. And these were great. I figured I'd have to get them. Honestly, I got these for doing the motorcycle courses. And I thought, if even if it works 3 or 4 times, because it was a real bad rainstorm coming up and I just didn't have any decent rain pants, I was like, screw it. For $15, if it works the weekend, I got my money out of it. And like I said, it's been years now and I still got them, still work great.
No, I'm impressed. I bought a lot of cheap sets over the years, especially when I was working in the woods, tree trimming and clearing and stuff. And I was literally going through suits every few weeks. And so I kind of stepped back from them for a while. Um, and I haven't found a good set. I have a few sets around. I have a heavier rubber set, but I haven't found a good set for motorcycles yet that
You,
I'm willing to pay for.
when it comes to motorcycling, stepping away from the bushcrafting a little bit, there's something I always tell every class that I teach. There's no such thing as waterproof rain gear. It's just how long is it going to take you to get wet? Or do you want to get wet from the outside in or the inside out? But you're still going to get wet.
That, that's very true for camping, honestly, and hiking. Like if you're in the woods and if you have good waterproof, like say rubberized rain gear, you're still gonna get wet. You're like you said, you're just gonna sweat inside, and you're gonna be, and that can make you just as miserable. So, you got to choose your method. And the reality is, if it's really wet and damp outside, chances are the best you're doing is keeping yourself dryish. Uh,
Dryish. I like that.
dry.
That's very true. Yeah, actually, I just got looking at these ones, and you were talking about the cheaper sets and stuff like that. These are nylon, so they are literally the same material that a tent would be made out of, like a Coleman tent. Can you see that in there? Yeah, nylon. Comes with cargo pockets, zippers, all that good stuff. But I found with the plastic ones, like the real cheap ones you get in the sets, where they are like a plastic or a vinyl, they either tear, rip, or cut super easy.
Yeah, no, yeah, they're the next thing to disposable. The, but no, nylon should be pretty good. I haven't tried those particular ones, or if I did, it's been quite a few years.
Well, that's the thing. The
Uh,
one I have up in the pictures, they actually say PVC polyester, and that's probably the ones I would not recommend personally, just because it's that plasticky stuff. I do mean the nylon ones. I just could not find them on the Walmart website, so this was the next best thing.
yeah. Okay.
Grundon's got good stuff at all price point. So Grundon, Grundon got good stuff. Are you familiar with Grundon brand?
No.
Nor am I. So Scott out and about is saying Grundon got good stuff at all price points. Um, maybe a little bit more information there. Is Grundon a local company, a mass company? Normally I'd throw that into the search engine, but I kind of gotta display our stuff, and I'm sure nobody wants to see that, or maybe they do. But anyway, moving on in our list, this one's actually yours, Ben. It is a tome show or tome shoe.
Yeah, so that was a tarp one I found. It was kind of, I think it was Amazon's choice. Was it not?
Yes, it is. Tried to zoom in a
Yeah,
little there
the
so it
lightweight
would.
little poncho. I kind of really like the poncho concept. The what we were talking about earlier, how like there's no such real thing as waterproof. The poncho keeps the majority of the rain off of you, stuff falling down. If you're walking through the woods, your legs are still going to kind of get wet either way. But this allows it to still like vent, and it keeps the majority off. Um,
And this has multiple uses too, as I can see here. Which kind of the most poncho ones, like good true poncho ones, they have that ability to, you can use them as like a ground sheet. You can use them as a temporary tarp. They do have a few more usabilities to them than just a straight up raincoat. The only downside is they're not really form fitting. I personally don't mind that, and sometimes I kind of prefer that.
so I got Grundon's up here. I did quickly look them up, and it looks like they have an American and a European outlet. I don't quickly see if they ship to Canada. Quickly.
And I mean, for this Tom shoe or Tom.
It's one of the, to me, it's one of the say Chinese companies. Um, it was more of the entry price ones. Prices kind of start around there, and they just go up.
Well, Gary
Um,
claims he has one. If you're still with us there, Gary, what's your thoughts on it? If you actually have one, how do you feel about it? Have you actually used it? Quality, stuff like that? It looks good. I've used products that are like this. I just haven't used the Tom shoe one myself. You know the ones I'm talking about, like the. But
this is the one that me and you actually talked about. Not necessarily this exact brand, but this is one I think I might be willing to do, and go out and set up a shelter and do a whole episode on this system. And we were looking at say the one Tigris, but right now that's going for I think to get the set to make like
the actual little shelter.
the shelter that you can make with it, the Lavu style shelter. It's like $100 and something just before taxes or something. I think they're significantly more expensive. So I think this is a great.
I'd give this one a
Uh,
go, and we could do individual shelters. Gary says that it keeps him dry and fits over his backpack while he's wearing it, so he likes it. So, I mean, if Gary says it's decent, that's a guy that's been in the woods, has some experience. I'd tend to trust his opinion on it.
well, I've
Not to
been in the
inflate
woods.
his ego.
No, I've been in the woods with him, and he can camp with the best of them. That's proof there, right?
He puts up with you. I mean,
That's right.
in camo color didn't cost much. And yeah, these are coming out at $25. 25 bucks, I may end up with one of these, be honest with you too, Ben. After the show, might order one tonight, and we'll have to start playing in a little getaway.
Yeah, $25. I mean, honestly, it doubles as a tarp. I mean, the uses are pretty well endless at that point. Like, if the garbage bag had 101 uses, this is 1,000. Because it has tie-out points. I can use it as a shelter. I can use it so much better. It looks like it has a pouch for your tablet. So
This is only this specific one. Not all of them have the pouch. But if that was a feature you wanted, it does have that dry pouch. I don't know how much I'd trust the dry pouch.
if you want to look like a Teletubby in the woods, this is the one for you.
I mean, kind of want to look like a Teletubby in the woods. I'm not going to lie. Who doesn't? Tinky Winky? I'd say he's the man, but I don't. He's the Teletubby, or they're the Teletubby. Not sure what the politically correct term for that is. But anyway, I digress. Once again, if you want to grab that in an orange and double dip into the usefulness, or if you were the other way on that, want to get a camo, whatever, if you want to stand out or blend in, once again, you're going to have something that's going to pull double duty or what, at least one extra. No pouch of mine if memory serves. So Grundon's started for commercial fishermen and branched out from there. Lighter weight versions of the heavy commercial stuff has been working for me, about 150 a set. And that's kind of your mid to high end price point there. And we do have kind of sets like that coming up in a little bit here. So after the poncho style, which once again, not a huge cost on there. We're still only talking like $25 for a poncho that's going to cover everything.
So are we gonna?
Oh,
Whoa! Before we go to the next thing, are we going to get Gary to join us when we do this trip?
if he has one, why not? If you're interested, Gary.
You too can be as cool as us, Gary.
So the requirements for the trip, Gary, is you bring your poncho and your poncho's your shelter. So you can bring your sleeping bag, stuff like that, a ground mat, ground sheet if you so want, hammock, whatever. But the poncho is your shelter, so keep that in mind. Anyway, so we'll see if he wants to come, and we'll go from there. So the next one up is the Frog Trogs, which I have to admit, I didn't even know this was a thing, but they're no PVC is what I like. They're polypropylene, so I don't know how that would hold up, but I'd be willing to give her a go. You know what I mean? Like, these guys definitely seem like they're fairly active, but that could be marketing at its finest.
This is one that I've been hearing about for years, and it seems like it's more recent than I'm finding the ads and stuff here in Canada. But it seems like they've been using them in the States quite a while. So years ago, when I first started getting into the online forums and stuff, frog togs, people were talking about them all the time, and it seemed to be kind of the go-to baseline gold standard type what a lot of the ultralight hikers and stuff were going with, because I guess they were relatively light, they were relatively durable, and had a relatively good reputation, right? I mean, it was kind of the standard. So he's in. We got to keep
Nice.
camping, right? So I want to throw that out there, and the price is still pretty reasonable. I mean, it's $50 for a set that's
And it looks pretty good. Like, there's some things on this I'm looking at. It's got the elastic cuffs. It's got some sort of system for closing off the feet. So, I mean, size for me is going to be the big thing on this. Their 2XL only goes up to a 38-inch waist, which is generally where your XL goes. It doesn't. 2XL should usually go to like 44, 46-inch. So this might have some sizing issues for those of us that are a little larger. Like, I'd be just on the borderline of these things. But I'd definitely like to see a set. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it seems like it's kind of layered. If you go to the material breakdown on this particular one, there's one of the other screens there. Yeah, this one here. It'll pop up for everyone in a second. Yeah. So inner layer weight performance match blend of exclusive. What's it called? Rowan fabrics design.
Non-woven fabrics designed to promote airflow and breathability while offering a smooth, soft touch when worn. Outer layer, waterproof and breathable. Film-based outer layer provides ultra-light performance.
So, somewhat breathable. Lets the moisture out. It keeps the moisture outside too. So
Scott.
should.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
I was going to say, so Scott just came up in the comments here. Frog Trogs in most big box stores in the States. He knows it as a decent brand. So anybody's wondering, Scott's our friend from the South there. And yeah, maybe have you ever had a chance to use them, Scott? Or have you just kind of seen them in passing? Because this is the first time I've heard of them. But like I said, for the price point, not bad. Because even though like the PVC kind of crap, like the thicker PVC crappy ones, you're still shooting at $50, honestly. And they're not worth $50. They're not worth $15 in my opinion, but you're still going to pay it.
Comes with a 1-year warranty, buddy.
I'd be curious to see what the 1-year warranty covers. Because I can guarantee you, if it's trying to cram a 40-inch waist into a 38-inch pair and you blow them out, probably doesn't cover it. But yeah,
Oh,
I
bucket.
actually read in the comments here, or the questions more specifically. I do say that somebody was using it on a hike. So yeah, that right there means it can't be too bad. And hope somebody did not have a good time with these ones and blew the seam out. But you know what? There's going to be the similar downfalls to a lot of these rain pants, especially at anything sub $100. At sub $100, you are getting medium rain gear, and sub $50 you are getting cheap rain gear, and you have to accept it as cheap. You know what I mean? And this is right on that borderline of cheap to medium. You know what I mean? So I've seen a lot. Yes, Steve's much like you, seen a lot of hikers in the U.S. that recommends them. So
Yeah, no, it's one of those things I've been hearing about for years. I found it when we were doing our research in the last few days, and I definitely wanted to get it up there. I want people to be aware of it. It's something that, because I don't want to sound like we're deprived here in Canada, but a lot of stuff doesn't show up here for an extended period of time after everyone else has been playing with it for years. Uh, you know, and
and Troy
it's
has a good point. You don't feel so bad when you rip the $25 to $50 ones than if you ripped the $700 ones.
oh man, yeah, no. Well, that's the thing. When gear gets to the point where it's more expensive than you're really willing to pay, it gets to the point where you're afraid to wear it. So there's something to be said about wearing gear that you're not afraid to ruin, but have the confidence to know it should last at least the trip, right?
And the other tricky side of that is bushcrafting is hard on rain gear. Camping, like just going through the woods with rain gear, is not easy on it. It's not meant really to take sticks dragging on it, possibly poking it, rocks chafing against it. Like rain gear is kind of meant to keep you dry
Yeah.
within reasonable tolerances. So, like the ones I used to wear on the lobster boat when I used to lobster fish when I was a kid, they were fine for that. Kept me dry, things were good, they were cheap, but I didn't really move a lot. You know what I mean? You pull a trap in, you pull some lobsters out, you throw the trap back out. That's the extent of the movement. Take that gear and run it through the woods within 20 minutes. It's full of holes. So
Yeah.
application's definitely going to play a big point on this too. Sold Arctex. Rough I get with it, and that's the thing, Alex. Like we just said, it's bushcrafting, camping, just running through the woods. Woodscraft in any way, shape, or form is really hard on rain gear. Imagine taking your tent and dragging it through the trees. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tent's meant to be stationary. So, but
And
anyway,
and some of us are honestly rougher than others. I've been his skin is waterproof. Yeah, I agree. Um, but some of us go in the woods and we hardly touch a tree. Like we're very graceful, if that's the word, right? And then there's people probably much like myself and Robert is we're
we
more
bull
much
through the
more like
woods.
bull, yeah.
Bull
We
those.
push through, and if it's not as tough as we are, then it's probably going to fail, and that includes boots, pants,
Oh man, I
watches,
rip pants and
backpack,
shirts all the time in the woods.
right?
I mean, it's just
Uh,
don't go to the woods with a pair with any clothing. I don't expect that I am going to destroy going in or coming out.
I mean, honestly, if there's any clothing manufacturers out there that want to truly test your clothing, just send me and Robert a few pairs and say, please camp with these for a week. Let us know what you think, and we will send you back the rags, and an apology.
And if we don't, we pay full price. I'm willing to do that because I really haven't found a pair of clothing yet. And I've gotten some nice stuff. Like the best I had were those brown pants you seen that we went out with. I think I wore them both times. Those ripstop ones. They don't not rip. They just don't rip as big. You know what I mean?
So I think they were on clearance when I bought them, but I bought like River hiking pants, the zip off style, and I know they were like $120 brand new, and I probably got them for 60. Like I got them half off, and I felt bad for spending $60 on them. Had them a couple of weeks, and there was holes in them from the fire. I went down to Giant Tiger, and I bought a set of green, whatever their name is, Mountain House or Mountain something, uh, clothing, and I bought a pair of pants that are functionally identical. Materials and stuff differ. You know, those green pants look almost as good as the day I got them, and I have worn the hell out of them.
And that's the thing. Some stuff surprises you. Don't turn a nose to anything until you tried it. Bull moose in a china shop, Troy. No, we're worse than that because a bull moose in a china shop at some point will get tired and stop. We're too stubborn. We'll just keep going, destroying ourselves and things around us. But
Stubborn's a word for us, yeah.
yeah,
That'll work.
stubborn is definitely a word for us. We sometimes don't know when to quit. But I think that's kind of the fun. We may push ourselves a little hard, but we tend to push ourselves harder when we're together as well, which is nice because we know we have the other person as a safety net, but it's also kind of bad because we know we have the other person as a safety net. But
Just
anyway,
edge each other on. Yeah, we could do that.
yes, I think you only break one leg, definitely not two. I mean, that's crazy.
I'm
But
sure you can jump that crevice.
oh man, scale that wall one-handed, buddy. But
That river won't get you wet.
I swear, what we were at that waterfall, 5 minutes, and I was soaked to the knee. Anyway, so next one up's another one of yours, Pioneer. I actually have had a little bit of experience with these. These are kind of the kind I was roughly talking about that we like wear on the lobster boats. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're a good, solid, thick material. The mobility is not super great in them, but they do the job quite functionally well.
Yes. Yeah. You see a lot of road crews and stuff wearing these too. I mean, they are, um, they're kind of a three-season outfit, I would call it. These aren't like, I don't think they come with the fleece liners or anything,
No.
but um, and and if it's humid weather, you're going to still get wet. It's what we talked about earlier. These don't breathe super well, but uh, reflective. If you get lost in the woods, we're much like more likely to find you wearing this type of stuff. um,
So to answer your
but
question, Chris, we never push hard together doing the same thing. One of us is always pushing hard, the other one's always acting as the safety anchor. Should we be doing it? Probably not from a safety point of view. But at least we do have the common sense that one of us will always take a step back and go, all right, let's see how bad this goes. Dial 9-1 and wait. You know what I mean? Anyway, yeah. Uh, yeah, and that's what I say about these two is you definitely sweat from the inside out with these in any kind of warm, humid weather. You're gonna stay dry-ish. In a torrential downpour, will you be like soaked? No, but you're gonna be damp from the inside out.
the downside with these, I mean, price wise, they're one of the higher price sets we have on here right now. I mean, they're higher than everything up till now. And they're not lightweight. But if you were going into a heavy storm, these might be the better option.
Well, they're kind of
You know?
windproof too, right? Like
Yeah.
they'll break a lot of wind. So if you had some sweaters and stuff on, like in cooler weather, they will. I'm thinking like sleety kind of weather. You know what I mean, where it's kind of wet, kind of snowy. This is great stuff to have as an outer shell. It'll break the wind. It'll break the snow sleet kind of stuff. But they're just my big gripe with them is the mobility's just not there with them. You know what I mean? Like they are very plastic cut. If you raise your arm, the sleeve drops to here and water runs straight down. But
Yeah.
if you stand and keep your arms like waist level, they are great. They are amazing. But just know what you're getting into with them.
They're also, from my experience, relatively rugged.
Yeah, they're less. They're less like lawn chair cover material where it gets cracky after so much UV and tears and stuff like that. This is more rubber. It'll take a poke. It'll still cut fairly easy, but it'll
Yeah.
take like a poke. You know what I mean? It's more like I don't know how to explain it other than it's like a rubber. You know what I mean? It'll tend to kind of self mold around it before it'll go through it. For the
If I see this going through the woods, I got very last. um, Well, hold on there, Scott, because we got stuff coming up.
Oh, but we got good stuff coming up. But, um,
Oil skins to come up. Oh man, I
you know
wish
what?
I could.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris. We did not include them in here, or at least I didn't. I thought about putting them in here. But are oilskins true weather wear, or is that more of a composite outdoor wear, which is where I put them? I don't consider them 100% rain gear. I consider them kind of like, and I'm assuming what you mean is like the oilskin pants, oilskin coat. To me, that is like outer shell every day, like my hat. I have an oilskin hat. I don't just wear it in the rain, I wear it all the time. It's very durable. It resists sparks and stuff like that when you're around the
That's it. We lost credibility with them.
well, like I said, I just don't consider them dedicated rain gear. I consider them dedicated like outdoors wear. My opinion. Yes, they're warm, but I'd wear them in a fall evening just as well as I'd wear them in a rainstorm. My
Let's
two
throw them
cents.
up at the end as a bonus feature.
Oh, I
We'll look
definitely
up.
can. And there's actually a great video on how you can make your own. No, like I said, we'll throw them up at the end as a bonus. But the ones I'm talking about, oilskin, is literally like oilskin. It's as I said, it's kind of like an everyday wear for me in the spring and fall. They're just
Yeah,
super rugged.
we can talk about a few other things as we go out because like I've made kind of like your what does it call them, the iron skin style, like where you the linseed oil and wax
Yep.
coat. I got one out there, and that is waterproof. Like I could go out there, you could take your fire hose, hit me, and it's gonna beat off and just roll aside, right? Uh, but it's pretty rugged too, right? But it's got its own issues, right? We can talk about that sort of stuff. So,
Tisk tis Ben. Chris's.
great. I'm from the sticks, buddy. I might be a newfie, but I didn't grow up anywhere near the ocean.
I did. We just never wore them. We wore what you see up there now. But
Yeah.
so that this is kind of the end of our you know low to mid range gear as well. Like at $76, you're actually getting a pretty good decent set of rain gear, but it's from here on where you're getting good sets of rain gear. My opinion, I guess my opinion is you kind of get what you pay for with rain gear if you do at least the minimal research on it. Would you not agree, Ben?
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's really what if you're not planning on camping in bad weather, and you're only hoping to, you're only planning on wearing it more or less in the emergencies, spending $400 or $500 on a rain suit and pulling it in because it's still probably not going to be the lightest item and least bulky item in your set. There's a trade-off that you really have to consider here. So, but we'll get to it. Let's pull her up. What's our next set?
So the next one
Mine.
is coming to your high end. And this is the high vis bib overall with removable T-Max liner. But this is, like you said, we're getting into four season stuff here now too.
Yeah. So this is similar to what we use in the search and rescue here in Nova Scotia. So we carry I think ours are Viking.
You know what? I was going to put Viking on this list. I had a sorry, I digress, but that's normal for me. I had a Viking coat and I was thinking about how long I actually had it, and I had it close to 14, 15 years. I just threw it out last year. I even asked Mel, do we still got that red Viking coat? She's like, no, I think you finally threw that out last spring. And I'm like, crap.
Yeah. But we do. We have the 3-in-1 style jacket. So we got the fleece liner and the outer waterproof one, and we have the sort of insulated pants, and they work pretty awesome. And I can roll them up pretty good. I strap them to the outside of my pack when I go, especially the pants because I don't like always wearing them. And it's warm. Like I can go out and shovel in the middle of a snowstorm in that outfit, and I'm perfectly comfortable shoveling along and clearing the driveway or walking through the woods. And you do lose some maneuverability, not as much maybe as our previous
Mm.
more rubberized set. They they flex and work a bit better.
Yeah, I know those Columbia jackets you're talking about, Alex. Those things are great.
Yeah. there's no end to stuff you can get. I've bought the I think it's called wetware or wet skins from
Hmm.
Costco. That works pretty good too. And in fact, my winter jacket that I've been wearing for the last 2 or 3 years is wet skins. Uh, and they
Mm.
make a summer jacket too, and they sell at Costco. So there are plenty of options out there, and what we're picking out is a few styles, types, I guess. You really have to shop around for the best deal for you.
Yeah, so for me, the ones I picked out were ones I had experience with. You know what I mean? I could honestly say, yeah, I know a little bit about this brand. Not to say there's not comparable brands out there that do just as well. Definitely do a
And
little bit of research.
I've used other Dakota like T Max stuff. I know it works well. This exact set I haven't. I couldn't find the Viking set I have. I know we bought it, and it's probably through a more
Well,
uh,
Viking was probably sold by Ackland Granger at the time, if I remember correctly, and Ackland Granger has since become Granger, and they dropped a ton of their stores here in Nova Scotia, at least. I don't know about the rest of the places, but basically there's one in Burnside, and that's it.
Atlantic Textiles or something like that. It's,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of the industrial places is where we got ours through, I think, for search and rescue. But I know when I went to get fitted, I went to Mark's Work Warehouse. They had the same set at the time. Walmart has a similar looking and feeling set,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know what the brand theirs is. Uh, Honestly, they all are, in my opinion, fairly comparable. I'm not going to say one is vastly better than the other because I'm not a big brand name person, right?
No. And once again, we say this a lot, but don't think that the brand names we're mentioning are the ones that we most highly recommend either. Once again, we have a little experience with the brand names we're talking about, or have at least heard good things about the brand names we talk about. We have zero brand loyalty except for the Atlantic Bushcraft branding. Which side am I on? There we go. That's it. That's the only brand we swear by is Atlantic Bushcraft Adventures.
And all products actually get infinitely better when it has that label on it. It's just the label that does it, right?
My truck gained 5 horsepower.
I know.
Absolutely. Gained 5 horsepower. Just one sticker. One sticker, 5 horsepower. I'm going to stick like 7 or 8 of them on there.
A couple more, you won't even have to start her up. She'll just go down the road on her own.
Hovercraft.
Wait till
Anyway.
you get a couple of those compass roses on it. You won't even be able to get lost.
Oh man, I got it all picked out the tailgate where that sucker's going. But, so yeah, I have never used this specific set like you said. I think I know the Vikings you're talking about because the local search and rescue used them too, and I did when we did a couple searches down here for that young fella and stuff. I've seen them out in them, and if they are those ones, I do have a little bit of experience with them. I used to use them when I was doing pulp, and because they're sturdy. I gained 5 pounds. Well, Troy, results may vary,
It's all
but
muscle, bro. It's all muscle.
and of course the other one to this is the coat that goes with that set. I assume, right?
Yes, yeah, it's the matching one. So what I'm getting at here is sort of the 3-in-1, the lined. Um, you're looking at you're looking at $400 here for a set of gear. 250 plus 150, approximately.
But for that money, you're getting a 3 to 4 season set of rain gear that's going to hold up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you are getting your money's worth out of that. Much like I said there a little while ago and been attested to, you kind of get what you pay for when you do at least the bare minimum research on getting a set of rain gear.
So, I mean, this is a set though. You can wear this. You could wear this in the winter. You could go camping in the winter with this set, and because of it's already like the 3-in-1 style jacket. You can kind of layer and on layer. Um, you throw a good fleece under that and a thermal shirt, and you're good.
Alex, wore my shirt camping, the Atlantic Bushcraft shirt. My tent set itself up on its own, and I put the wood down, and the fire started without help.
See,
See?
see.
Results vary. That's awesome. We're gonna use that to sell shirts. Hope you know that. Um, but yeah, you definitely get what you pay for when it comes to rain gear, and this is one of those things. If you are gonna sink the money in, it's definitely a good product. You're not gonna be disappointed. And as Ben said, you can take this out in the winter.
Yeah, yeah. This is a setup that I've used, not this particular brand, but the same, the equivalent setup, uh, almost in a year-round fashion, just by adjusting the gear a little bit, like just wear the outer or just wear the inner, um, leave it unzipped, things like that. You're going through wet and marshy weather. I mean, I've gone through some pretty hefty bogs and stuff, and they relatively dry in damp, rainy weather.
Just answering a little comment here. Chris is still giving me a hard time over the oilskins.
Did he send us a good link, or at least?
No, he's just getting after us.
Oh my, Chris! All right. So I'm kind of excited. What do you got coming up? You
Okay,
got something?
so funny enough, you said you never found a good set going motorcycling. I have had some experience doing motorcycling rain gear, and I did include them on my list for this because they are probably the best pair of rain gear I have found. Not for season. This will be summer only. Um, at this price point. And I almost hate clicking the page over to this because I am not an endorser of this brand name in any way, shape, or form. I'm not against it either. I have no particular interest in supporting it. And that's gonna be Harley Davidson rain gear. Now,
Oh,
once again, like I said, I am not a supporter of Harley Davidson. I'm not against Harley Davidson. I don't care if you like the bike or not. I've had a Harley Davidson. I did not have good luck with it. So I have a bad taste in my mouth about Harley Davidson. That is just me. I know there's tons of people out there that swear by them, love them, they do their thing. However, the rain gear they make is one of the only ones that I actually seen keep me dry for extended periods of time riding in a rainstorm. Now I still had the normal crotch seep and the chest seep. So what I'm talking about there is when you're riding a motorcycle, rain hits you in the chest, generally finds its way in under your neck. Everything that hits your chest goes straight down in between your legs because just the way you're sitting on a bike, it pools there. It's eventually gonna soak through. That's
yeah,
why I say you're never going to be 100% dry. Those two areas always get wet. I don't care if you're wearing a garbage bag. Eventually, one drop will find its way in and the rest will follow. However, these kept me the most dry I have ever been on a motorcycle, and I've ridden through some really terrible weather. So, regardless of what I think of the motorcycles or the brand name in general, their rain gear has been some of the best I've ever put on my body. My personal opinion.
you heard it here, folks. Harley Davidson makes decent rain gear.
They make the best rain gear I've ever put on.
I
That
can
being
believe that.
said, it's not cheap. Much like the stuff you just showed, I know it's going to be a little hard to see in the link there, and I'm talking this heavier stuff up here. Jackets $238.95. Keep in mind that's just the jacket. The pants that go along with those, I think, are around 463. So you're looking at like $800 in rain gear when it's all said and done.
So I'm assuming that these also, though, are of a tougher material meant to handle road
They are.
rash.
They are very well constructed. They are very comfortable to wear. They breathe really well. Like they are probably the best rain gear I have ever slung over my carcass. In all honesty, they're great. They're just super expensive. They weren't my set. That's the other thing. For anybody who wonders, no, I don't own an $800 pair of Harley Davidson rain gear. I borrowed a set because somebody told me it was the best rain gear they had ever worn, and I said, there's no such thing as good rain gear on a motorcycle. Like generally I don't wear rain gear on a motorcycle because I'm gonna get wet either way. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, screw it, I'll just get wet. Uh, but honestly, I stayed pretty dry with these, and I rode 2.5, 3 hours straight in a rainstorm. And like I said, aside from the neck, the crotch that slowly seeped down on the inside of my legs, the outside of my legs were dry. So
The worst rain I ever rode in was in Winnipeg, and I was on a 400cc motorcycle, and At one point, I had to follow a transport truck so I could stay in the wake of his tires, so that the carb stayed out of the water.
The worst rain I ever rode in would be had to be 2006. Yeah, because it was the 550, and I wrote the 550 off at the end of 2006. I only owned it for a year. Um, and it was just some freak rainstorm that happened. I was working in Sheet Harbor at the time, traveling to Bedford Highway. That was my commute every day
Yeah.
to and from. And on the way back, it opened up and poured. And I was coming through Main Street, Dartmouth, and it was raining so hard, so fast, the water was hitting the headers on my exhaust. Like we're talking 6, 7 inches of water I was driving through on a normal road. And then, of course, I got up on the bridge trying to go across into Bedford, and the lightning was just all around me. I've never been so scared on a motorcycle in my life either. And I've, done track days and stuff like that. That didn't bother me as much as sitting on a bridge with lightning going off all around me. Like, it sucked. Anyway, uh, so that was the most expensive I had. I did have an honorable mention on my side that I have some experience with. Unfortunately, I didn't have any pricing for it because the only sample I have are both from one the fire department and one from my work. And the the brand name is Opus, Opus. The seller that I know you can buy it here in Nova Scotia anyway, Frontline Outfitters, frontlineoutfitters.ca. You can go in there. They have this gear. It's good stuff. I like it. The stuff I have right here beside me, or the item I have right here beside me, is from the fire department. And this is a long raincoat. And we've been on some scenes and stuff, and I'm sure Troy can attest to this too, because he has one as well, I believe, or he has at least worn one. We've been on some bad scenes where it's been very wet, side of the road, you're standing there for a long time. These things stay dry. They stay great dry, as long as you don't move around, because they are full-length raincoats. They only go to about your knees, so if you don't have a pair of rain pants on, sometimes it can get in your boots and stuff like that. But that's a drawback of not having the rain pants with them, you know what I mean? So if you got the rain pants, all is well. But they're good. They stay dry. They're a little bulky. They're fairly warm too. They block a lot of wind. It's a thick material. It's a durable material. It's a heavy duty material. I would recommend it if you have a chance to get your hand on a set. Pricing, unfortunately, I don't know because, like I said, both of mine were provided. But it's good quality rain gear if you can pick it up at a reasonable price. The other downside, neither one packs down very well. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to get this kind of packing out of either the pants coat or this long raincoat. It's fairly bigger packaging. But if you knew that ahead of time, especially if it was like, if you were I don't want to say glamping, but like tailgate camping, you were driving up or something like that, and you could carry a little extra gear, it'd be a great item to throw in at that point.
So I'm going to throw something over to you.
All right, I just switched over to us. If you want to throw over something to me, I'm going to bring up the oil skins. That way Chris can be good with us.
Well, he's not going to forgive us now.
Oh no, I know. We're done. He's so over us. I think we lost a long-time viewer over this. He's very hurt.
All right. Okay. I didn't realize he was so sensitive.
So I'm curious if, just because I have it up here, what I'm considering oil skins, is it what you guys are considering oil skins, or is there a slight breakdown here? Because this is what I'm considering oil skins. So you guys tell me. When I think oil skins, this is what I'm talking about, is this stuff right here.
So that looks like cowboy style oil skin.
That's what I've always considered oil skins. That's why I said I don't consider them 100% rain gear. They are 100% rainproof, but they're like an actual leather oil skinned material. Is this what you guys are talking about, or not what you guys are talking about?
I think probably, and again, like I didn't grow up on the coast. I didn't grow up on a fishing boat, but a lot of them did have it. They were less ornamental than this, but I think the function was the same. It was an oil impregnated cotton jacket and like the sou'wester style hat, like that kind of traditional Newfoundland.
Yeah, I'm talking kind of like this men's deer jacket kind of dealio, and you know what I mean? But like my hat, you've seen my hat. It's 100% oilskin treated. It's amazing product, much like this one here, the River Guide. And I paid very similar to it. It's a great product, but I don't consider it a rain gear only piece of equipment. I wear it all the time because it's super sturdy. It actually holds up to the woods beating off it and stuff like that. Plus, it's rainproof. Mine actually needs to be re-oil dipped now, and I don't know if I'm just gonna send it in to be re-oil dipped or just get a new one because mine's also. I bought it when I started teaching, so mine's going on 5 or 6 years old. So there's no shame to it.
Just getting broke in, but
Well, it's pretty beyond broke in. There's a lot of sweat in that sucker. I found out. So I'm gonna shoot this link over to Chris because I think he left us. I don't think he's talking to us anymore. Yeah, I'm with you, Troy. I didn't think that's what they were talking about. But that's what I know oilskins as. So I'm hoping Chris is still with us, but he might have disowned us. Uh, and I'll bring up your link there now, Ben. Just give me one sec.
because mine is the most manly thing you're gonna ever find.
And just while I'm bringing this up in the background, I'd really like to hear what your guys' thoughts are, especially after the show. If you're listening, stuff like that. What's your guys' favorite kind of rain gear? Do you have a preference? Do you just grab the cheapest, or you got brand name loyalty? What the heck is this, Ben? What is this, Ben? Oh,
So
no, wrong page here. There it is.
when I was deep diving into ultralight camping gear, this is what a lot of the ultralight people were talking about was a rain skirt or apron, and they said like your legs are basically going to get no matter what you do, but you're just trying to keep yourself as dry as possible and have some degree of maneuverability and stuff. And the rain skirt, apparently, there's a ton of people, guys and girls, they don't care what they look like. It's not a fashion thing. It's I'm into water or I'm into wet weather and I just want to get out okay. And the rain skirt is something they get. It's pretty lightweight, cheap, not a lot of excess material, and they just slip one of these on in the rain and they pop it back off and roll it up in their pocket.
So a couple things that
So I
came out of the
thought,
comments just while it's coming up and it's fresh. Alex mentioned Gore-Tex. I've used Gore-Tex boots with good luck, and Troy has mentioned Vernon Dion's offers a variety of good rain suits. So just some other brand names to throw out there while we're on the topic.
yeah, again, we're not set against or for any brand. That's your horse I ride.
Um, yeah. So Chris isn't coming back to us, which I'm sad. I don't know if he's listening to us or not, or if he's maybe he has found another podcast.
Is that him?
Oh, okay. See, I don't call those oil skins. I call those oil slicks. I know what you guys are talking about now. All right, hold on. Yeah, I got you, Chris. I got you now. Oil slicks. So actually, I'll
I
just bring
Google,
up the picture he sent.
I
So
Google helping.
I know what you guys are talking now. Sorry, that's my bad. That you're totally right there. The old see, we always call these oil slicks or rain slicks, whatever you want to call them, and they're just like the long trench coat and the bib coveralls.
The
And
old traditional fisherman,
yeah,
you
and
know,
we kind of did include something like this. We just included a better kind of these.
but look at this. This is not going to be good for. Are we froze on the internet, or is it just me?
Well, it might just be you. Did I accidentally close your window? Is everybody else still seeing us all right? Wet skins. Yeah, it's something skins anyway, Gary. Like I said, oil skin to me is that stuff I sent you. Um,
It goes down past his knees. There's no way you're walking through brush wearing this
no.
for any level. It's going to exhaust you.
Well, I mean,
So
But you know what? Still good, tried, tested rain gear. I do know what you're talking about. That's better than Ben's skirt. I don't know, man. I kind of like that skirt idea. Not gonna lie. I'm kind of interested in picking up one to give it a shot. You know what I
Uh,
mean? Don't
well,
knock it till you try it.
this is exactly it. I mean, we can all knock something that we haven't tried, but it was kind of interesting because the first few people I seen talk about it actually made fun of it and then admitted like they tried it because they were just sick and tired of some of the disadvantages of the rain pants, and they said, you know, it works, and if it works, it's not stupid. That was kind of their argument, and I like, you know, it kind of stuck with me in the back of my mind. It's dead simple. You can kind of just get away with something similar with just a garbage bag. Just pull it up to your waist and just walk along. When you finish, you rip it off and toss it aside. But leaving your legs more or less open to move around, and it still allows them to breathe a little bit better, I guess. It's just shedding the water off of them.
All right, to set the record straight, Chris did not leave us by choice. Apparently, his internet went down, and the data on the phone is not good enough to pick up the live stream. So he is gone, but it was forcibly removed. And no, we didn't kick him.
Sure, we didn't.
I don't even know we have the ability to do that. If we did, I'd be doing it a lot more often, but
To Chris?
I mean, I'd pick somebody. If Jeremy was still coming around, I'd definitely boot him a couple times and make him think it was internet problems. But no, like once again,
Yeah.
what's that?
Let's say for escape.
No, I'd like to give those one of those rain skirts a try. Not a whole lot of money to toss on that either, so I might order that with the poncho, and we'll because between the poncho and the rain skirt, man, I'm gonna be a sexy man running through the woods. You watch, there'll be Sasquatch sightings. The week after we go camping, there'll be fuzzy video everywhere. There's a Sasquatch in Nova Scotia, and he's wearing a poncho and a skirt. There's two other guys chasing him. What's going on here? Like,
Oh my. No.
not. But yeah, so that's it for us. We kind of digressed there at the end, but we covered everything. I apologize for the oilskin mix-up. What I thought was oilskins was not what you guys thought was oilskins. And like I said, we did kind of mention them. We just kind of very quickly breezed over them because we knew they really didn't fit the bill, unfortunately. But at the same time, they are better than no rain gear. You know what I mean? Like the coat alone's long. It's much like the long coat that I just had here. If you were going like tailgate camping, something like that, that rain gear is still going to work perfectly fine for you. It's
Oh, yeah.
basically solid, you know, like plastic, so it's gonna keep rain out, but it does suffer from that. You're gonna sweat from the inside out kind of deal. Channel Carhartt Shoreline bib and jacket. You know what? Love Carhartt bibs. Haven't tried their rain set stuff, but I have like a Carhartt, or I'm looking to get specifically Carhartt. I have a bib set, like the kind of faux leather bib work set. And man, those things are awesome. Great for fall, winter, spring. Couldn't be happier, but pricey, about $300 a set. And yeah, as soon as you buy Carhartts, you're throwing a lot of money in there anyway. They do make some like some other brands make a very similar product. And that's probably the road I will go down. I love a set of Carhartts, but I can't afford a set of Carhartts. You know what I mean?
I buy all my Carhartts at Value Village.
That's pretty much me. Unless one comes up my size at Value Village, I'm just not going to own it. Same as the Harley Davidson rain gear. If it came up my size at Value Village for, you know, like that $15, $20 mark, I'd own a set of Harley Davidson rain gear. But until then, we have the old Colemans and what other people give me.
uh, yeah. So I mean that's our 2 cents worth. I purchased watching my this channel. Okay. Um, you know, we don't really mind getting wet. We don't mind the weather that much. We are too cheap to spend thousands of dollars on gear. And if there was thousands of dollars we were going to spend, we'd probably spend it on something foolish. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
no,
Like,
no doubt about
if I had $1 million, I could buy you $1 million worth of nonsense by the end of the week that I'd think would be great.
it.
I mean, it's true. I'd have
Well,
rain skirts. There'd be Atlantic Bushcraft rain skirts going out. Everybody that watches would get a rain skirt.
1 million rain skirts.
Alex did make a point on the Gore-Tex coming back to it. Lots of brands use Gore-Tex as their waterproofing usually adds to the cost of the item. And I was going to say Gore-Tex is generally expensive. My Gore-Tex boots were like $400 or something. I think, but it's pretty good. I think it's around 9 billion pores per square inch. Stops water from coming in, but lets vapor out. I don't know the numbers myself, but it is one of those micropore materials. Water itself, like in a droplet form, can't permeate in, but it does breathe pretty good. Like I said, I used to love my boots. I just couldn't afford it. But yeah, so as Ben said, that's kind of it for me tonight, at least, unless you had some other stories or other things to carry on with, Ben.
No, I'm more or less done. I mean, there's a ton of stuff we can talk about. We could talk about, uh, you know, the iron cloth and all that stuff. But in the end, it's you know, it's important to stay dry and protect yourself. Find what works for you, and whether it be the plastic bag or the $700 suit or something in between. Find what works for you and get out there and enjoy yourself. Like, one guy said it at the beginning there. I can't remember who said it was, there's no such thing as bad weather, just inappropriate clothing or something along those lines. If you got the right gear, any weather can be enjoyable. And I think that's, in the end, that's the thing we got to kind of think about. I think that's what we need.
No, and I agree. And I guess my last thought on it is the best rain gear is the ones you own. You know what I mean? There's no wrong answer to this. Just whatever fits your bill. Get out there, try some things. Hit Value Village. Like Ben and I were joking about Value Village, but realistically, a lot of the stuff we try is stuff we eyeballed at Value Village and got for a good deal. And yeah, it's a little worn out when it comes to Value Village, but if you like the fit and you like the idea, you're a lot more apt to sink the full cost of an item into it with a little bit of knowledge than with absolutely none.
I'd say about 80% of my clothing came from Value Village. I'm
Oh
not
man, I
joking.
haven't bought a stitch of clothing since I was 16. I've told you this before. Unless somebody buys it for me, I do not buy clothing new. Let me back up. I don't buy clothing new.
um, but yeah, no, it it is there's a ton of gear out there, and nobody can afford to buy all of it every time. I guarantee you. Um, but shop around, look what you can find. Enjoy yourself. Trying to look up the pore density on Gore-Tex and
I can't remember what I was. I'm laughing at Scott Out and About. There's a song about that. I think if I had $1 million, I'd buy you a rain skirt. And I can actually hear it to the tune in my head, and I am gonna be laying in bed tonight and crack up at that and wake Melissa up. I know it. But yeah, so do your research, guys. Do a little bit of research. It's a fun subject, honestly. I enjoyed looking this one up. I honestly did. So, other than that, always get out there, play safe, have fun, do your research, and we will see you all next week.
buy all.
Night, everybody.